That Dr. Zom incident with the mounted police was kind of strange up in Canada. I think I told you about that.
With the police, I remember what happened.
With the Mounties up in Canada.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Well, we did a show up at a place near Lake Louise, a town called Banff. Banff, I guess you've heard of Banff. Banff's kind of a summer resort type of place.
Okay.
And it's we were booked in the theater and we did the show, and the show went very well. Apparently, someone is on the show, and this girl has seen the show. She wasn't one of the subjects on the stage, but she'd seen the show. And they were working the next day in a shop where they had a line of girls and fellas. And one of these kids who had seen the show came over to this girl, and he for some reason or other, he got the bright idea. Whoa, you're going to go to sleep. And the girl picked it up. She collapsed on the floor. So, you know. And because she'd seen the show the night before, I didn't do anything about it, but just, you're asleep, you're hypnotized, you're asleep. And she went to sleep. Well, immediately, everybody left the line and come around this girl, you know.
Right.
And they're all talking about, oh, the poor dear, she'll never wake up, she's asleep, is she going to die, is she going to be this? All those were suggestions. Furthermore, the girl never had such a crowd around in her life. Here she was a famous celebrity in this crazy factory. She wasn't going to wake up for anybody. So there she was, and apparently she would not respond to anybody to wake up. I wasn't there, so they didn't know what to do. All they could do is say, the poor dear, I guess she's never going to wake up. She's going to sleep forever. Or else she's going to die or something or other. So anyhow, this girl got a lot of attention. So they hauled her away by ambulance to the hospital. And apparently she didn't want to respond to the nurses or anybody. She just wanted to stay there. And yes, she went into a hypnotic trance. Anyway, after Delight and I went on to another place and did a show or so up in Canada. And we were sleeping in our bed in the motel about 12:30, 1 o'clock. Hear this knock on the door, and we opened the door up. I got up and opened the door, and there was this mounted police guy looking at Nelson Eddy, with his big hats and a red coat, you know. He said, "You Dr. Zom?" I said, "Well, that's the name we use in the theater." He said, "We've been trying to find you for 3 days." He said, "Some girl who saw your show in Banff has been sleeping in a hospital bed and they can't wake her up. We want you to come and tomorrow morning and get over there and take her out of this thing." So, of course, I said, "Sure, fine, I'll be glad to." Never had to go. They seemed like that somehow or other they got her out of it before I got over there before next morning. But that was quite an experience, see?
Yeah.
So then, after we did that experience, it caught the wires. It caught the wires even down here, because it was kind of exciting. Paul Harvey was always good at that kind of stuff, and he took it on his thing.
Oh, Paul Harvey talked about it, huh?
Oh, yeah, it caused quite a stir. If we had any sense, we would have followed up on the publicity. But Delight wanted to get away from the whole thing. She didn't want any more to do with it. So anyhow, we still had one show we had to go before we left. Delight told me, she said, "Well, nobody's going to come to this show. No one's going to come. After all, with this poor girl, all this scare about him, nobody will come." The place was just jammed with people. I asked for volunteers. I had more people on the stage than I'd ever had in my life.
God.
I hold up my crystal ball, hold it up in the air, didn't say one word.
And they're all gone.
They're all gone. All gone. Some falling off the chairs, some falling here, some falling there. We had them every place. I hadn't said one word, holding my crystal ball up in the air. All this girl got all this publicity. Here's their chance too, just like the Beatles, you know, that kind of stuff. See. So there were some that didn't respond that way. There were some that just kind of stood there and wondered about it. So the ones that fell on the stage, the ushers came up and we just hauled them off into the wings. See? And it was funny. And then the ones that were on the stage, I went on and did my show with. And the show went fine. Finally, it was all over, and people were still lying around still in self-trance. So it got later and later, and I just suddenly said to the whole bunch, I said, well, stay here as long as you want. We're going to go home, and we're going to lock the theater up, so do as you please. They all woke up right away.
Oh, really?
Oh, they all woke up right away. They didn't want to hang around just as long as they were big successes of theatrical figure, that was fine. Anyhow, yeah, we got to follow up on it because it was great publicity.
Mm-hmm.
When the line wanted to leave, so we just pulled out of Canada right away.
Jeez.
And got home. She was never much of a theater girl anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't care about that kind of stuff.
She didn't like to be on the stage?
Well, it wasn't that so much, but she didn't like that kind of publicity and that kind of thing. That didn't appeal to her at all.
Yeah.
She wanted us to get out of there. So we got home, and when we got home, her mother said to her, well, we heard on the radio about Dr. Zahm, but we knew it was a different Dr. Zahm than Ormond. It couldn't have been Ormond. Ormond would never get, that couldn't have been Ormond. It had to be a different Dr. Zahm.
A different Dr. Zahm. How many Dr. Zahms can there be in the world? Boy.
Well, she didn't want to admit it was her son-in-law that had gotten involved in something like that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we just let it go, and that was an experience.